Hello, welcome to the full Boomstick Gaming review for the heavy metal infused side-scrolling shooter, Valfaris. Instead of leading you on from the start on if the game is good or not, let's cut right to the chase because Valfaris honestly rocks. Valfaris is a straight-on in-your-face action game that is all about amassing a crazy arsenal to decimate everything in sight while your adrenaline surges with the ebb and flow of the stellar heavy metal soundtrack. You can take with you a wide array of single-handed primary guns, large energy-depleting two-handed weapons, and a variety of swords which can all be upgraded to enhance their splattering effectiveness. You also have a very useful shield that drains the same energy required to shoot your secondary gun, which can be used to block projectiles or, if timed perfectly, reflect attacks back onto attackers. Everything in Valfaris has a satisfying crunch and weight to it, which is further improved by the spot-on fluid controls. When the combat is firing on all cylinders, which let's be honest is almost always, and the music starts to swell as you evaporate everything around you, the focus you enter from this perfect gameplay zen is nearly unrivaled. Valfaris also has some of the best moment-to-moment level progression of any game I've played in quite some time. No environment overstays its welcome, no repeat enemies get too overused, and instead of feeling like the game's variety is not keeping up with your brain's satisfaction, Valfaris requires you to keep up with it, as it constantly bombards you with interesting new elements at a breakneck pace, which makes it feel like the creators were simply oozing creativity. Overstuffed variety is not something I would say the gaming industry is excelling at in its current state, which is why it's so refreshing to see Valfaris constantly throw creative new ideas at you, with a staggering amount of amazing bosses that should set a precedent for giving boss fights the focus and attention to detail they deserve. I want to now take a moment and talk about one very important collectible item in the game that might be one of the most flexible singular items of recent memory. Resurrection idols can be found hidden throughout each environment, which seamlessly integrate into nearly every aspect of the game. You can choose to sacrifice these to altars that function just like checkpoints, but if you refrain from doing so, you can hold numerous idols on you, and the more you amass, the larger boost you gain to your health and energy. This makes it so you can opt to play risky and bypass a checkpoint to use the advantages of your improved stats, or option 3, you can spend these idols to gain crafting materials to improve your weapons instead. This means that players who use the safety of every checkpoint will often have lower health and energy as well as less powerful guns, while brave players who risk it all and avoid the comforts of these checkpoints will have improved stats and much more powerful guns, which adds a near-flawless risk-reward element to this entire system. This one singular item has so many important uses throughout every aspect of the game, I can't think of any better motivator for thoroughly exploring your surroundings than how these idols were implemented. The overall challenge of Valfaris is yet another awe-inspiring achievement in the slowly dying art form of proper difficulty balancing. The adventure escalates at a perfect pace, knowing exactly when to push back, requiring you to master its mechanics, while also knowing when to let up and just let you have plain good old-fashioned fun. This constant battle between enjoyment and challenge bounced back and forth from moment to moment, encounter to encounter. I have honestly not had this much pure fun in a raw action game since Doom 2016, and in a lot of ways, Valfaris taps into many of the same things that made that experience great, essentially feeling like the 2D equivalent of the same action gameplay euphoria that it provided. Valfaris is exactly the game that gameplay-focused gamers needed this season, and its interesting area designs, satisfying combat system, endless onslaught of amazing bosses, and killer soundtrack make it a must-play in 2019. Valfaris is not only one of the best action games of the year, but also one of the best side-scroller shooters in over 3 decades of their existence. If you happen to enjoy my style of review or feel I've helped you make a more informed purchasing decision, consider subscribing to the channel, clicking that little bell icon if you already are, and you can also find me on Twitter at BoomstickAlex. Lastly, a special mention to these top YouTube members and patrons, who along with a few others, greatly help to support this individually owned and operated channel. As always, this has been Alex from Boomstick Gaming, and thanks for watching.